On today's episode of Everything I Own is Old Junk, we try and fix this air compressor. So why would you even bother trying to fix up an antique like this?
I mean, this relic is from 1953.
That's when they made stuff that actually was going to stand the test of time and something that's worth rebuilding. And this is a Champion air compressor, and it's got the dual stage, old school compressor on it. I mean, the main reason I kind of wanted an old school compressor like this is they're pretty quiet. So we picked up this beast a while back and had to put a new pressure switch on it, and wire some stuff in there. I just temporarily got this regulator on here for barn use. It's got a small pulley on there, which I believe you can wire up one of these motors to run on 110. It's set up now for 220, so we could probably get away with the larger pulley there and actually get a little bit quicker fill times. I did inspect this tank when I got it, pulled the plugs, looked inside with a bore scope and a light, and there wasn't too much rust. I mean, there's a little bit of surface rust in there, which I guess is to be expected on almost any air compressor tank that's been around for a while. But I actually sprayed some oil in there and actually have it sitting on an angle here, and we made sure that the bleeder valve at the bottom is functioning, and we keep any water that's in there, make sure it gets cleaned out as soon as possible. But the problem we ran into, this thing quit working its way up to full pressure. We're basically maxing out at 40, so looks like this is the low pressure side, high pressure side. You can feel the heat coming off of this line when it's running, and this side's basically cold. And since it'll run for 10 minutes and basically plateau at 40, something's going on with the high pressure side. So time to start tearing into this thing and see what we can fix. I've never had one of these apart before, but there's got to be some check valves or something in here somewhere. It's got to be one of the check valves there. So as it comes out, here's your little top cap. There's a spring. We'll build it up backwards here. And then here is your little check valve plate. Now there's a little bit of rust on here, nothing crazy, and that seats on that machine surface all around there. Everything's been surface ground flat, and although there is some slight discoloration, really not that bad. Now things ain't looking so pretty once we got to the intake side here. There's a whole bunch of rust. That is pretty nasty. Luckily though, when you look down into the cylinder, there's no rust on the cylinder walls, and everything actually looks pretty good down in there. Here's something cool. The shape of that piston, see as it rises up here, it's actually a conical shaped piston, and there's it uses up every last little bit of space in there to compress the air. I guess you don't have to worry about compression ratios when you're going for all out efficiency. This is definitely the proper tool for the job. Now this check valve came out in one piece because it's all rusted together. Nothing a little Scotch-Brite and some WD can't handle. So upon further inspection and chipping some rust away, that's actually a screw that's holding this thing together in one piece. Apparently that one just, left early for vacation. Might as well just check them all at this point. We got things cleaned up, put a new machine screw in there. We'll see what she does. Alright, there we go. The old extension cord's working out nicely. Make sure nothing's going to get caught in the flywheel. Well, here's a bonus quick fix. This old GE came into the shop. Purportedly it worked, and maybe it did 20 years ago, but when we plugged this thing in, it made some groaning noises and attempted to work, but did not. Now this thing kind of sucks. Well, and I guess it blows too, since you can reverse it, which is pretty neat for a box fan. I've not seen too many like that. So this thing is just way too cool to, let go to the scrap pile, so we're going to see if we can't bring it back. So once we got the covers off, we were able to kind of get this thing moving, and it was a bit stuck, and after spinning it a bit, it's spinning better, but not quite as freely as it should. So time to start tearing it apart. So there's a couple of spots where the wires are sort of a bit thin, and then as you go down the metal body here, well, that just looks really safe. Especially since we're well grounded. So by the amount of electrical tape, shielding devices, might be prudent to put a new wire on this thing. But let's see if we can find somewhere to oil up the bearings in here and get this thing spinning free first. We were going to use a hammer, but we'll do it the proper way. A little bit of oil onto the bushings and bearings. Well, that doesn't sound good. Seemed like a little bit of dust just got stuck on the oil and kind of had to work through a tough spot. Seems to be working now. So we did the right thing and just put more electrical tape on, but don't worry, we used the good stuff. For some reason, I always find it easier to work on old equipment like this, that you actually have a little bit of motivation and reason to try and keep it going. Because, this was built when stuff wasn't just a throwaway, disposable item, and it's made it this long, so I'm going to try and keep it going a little bit longer. So there it is. Old fan lives to rust another day.